Hi, this is Jeff Curto, and welcome to episode number 61 of Camera Position, a podcast about the creative side of photography. Well, the first order of business in this episode of Camera Position is to wish myself a happy birthday. Actually, Tom, a listener from Oakland, California, already took care of wishing Camera Position a happy birthday and reminding me that I had begun Camera Position in early February of 2006, and I'm here to tell you that this has been a wonderful experience for me. I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of really cool people, and I have really enjoyed interfacing with all of you and talking about photography with all of you. As a sort of a birthday present to you, the folks who have kept me involved in this and kept me interested in doing this for this 2-year period. I'd like to give away a couple of Camera Position logo T-shirts. These are some things I just had made up, and I think they look pretty good. So the first 2 people to email me at jeff@jeffcurto.com with the subject heading birthday in the subject line of the email, I'll give each of those people a Camera Position T-shirt, and by golly, I'm going to send Tom out there in Oakland, California, a T-shirt for reminding me that I've been at this for 2 years. And for those of you who don't get in on the 2-person, 2-year, you're not one of the first 2 callers there. I would encourage you to take a look on the sidebar of cameraposition.com, and you'll find T-shirts, and I had the logo put on a couple of other things, tote bag, etc., etc. So take a look and see what you think. I really appreciate everyone's support. I appreciate all of the people who are out there listening and telling your friends about Camera Position, and I hope to continue doing this for a lot longer than 2 more years. Just keep going and talking about photography and meeting all these great people out there in the world. So with that birthday celebration out of the way, and my great gratitude and thanks to all of those of you who are out there listening, I want to get on with today's topic for this episode of Camera Position. Well, I don't know about where the rest of you live, but here in Illinois it has been a very long winter already, and it is only mid-February, so we know that we've got some more winter left to live through. We've had a lot of snow, we've had a lot of frigid temperatures, and so that has all prompted me to kind of go back in my archives and look at some photographs that might remind me of being warmer. And so the other day I was looking back through my archives and looked at some photographs that I had made of a peach on a marble table, and really it reminded me of being warm. So I spent a really wonderful afternoon exploring these photographs, and I wanted to spend a few minutes today in this episode of Camera Position talking about the process of editing down this take and taking a look at what it was that I was interested in, and then editing the final photograph out of the group of images, and then also at the very end taking a look at something that this prompted me to then go do. So let's sort of jump in. I had this beautiful peach, and I got up in the morning, and the peach happened to be sitting sort of near the table, and I watched as the sunlight was streaming through the window, and I was fascinated by the light and the quality of light on this beautiful marble table in this place where I was staying. So I got the peach, and I got the tripod, and got my Hasselblad and a few rolls of film, and began making photographs. And really wonderfully exploring the combination of the way the sunlight was falling through the window, and taking a look at how the sunlight was falling across the peach and the shadows that were being created, and the way in which light was bouncing back up off of this white reflective surface into the body of the peach itself. And so I explored with experimented with different positions of the peach, experimented with different positions of the peach on the table, as well as taking a look at ways in which I could frame that, which spot in my square image. And I really love using my medium format Hasselblad camera square image. I think making a photograph in a square is a really interesting challenge because the square is kind of a static shape. And so I really like the idea of framing something in the square, finding an interesting place to put the subject, and trying to see how I can enliven the square with compositional strategies. So I kind of experimented, kind of took a look at all of these different methods of playing with the peach, and ended up with a photograph that I really liked, at least in retrospect, looking back and editing out these images. And again, I'm shooting on film, so I've scanned all of these color negatives that I shot, and then I'm editing them by looking at them in my preferred, at the moment, preferred image database of iView Media Pro, now Expression Media, and taking a look at them and comparing them and making a decision about which one is the one that seems to be the best for my my interest, my strategy of this sort of romantic sunlit view of the peach. And what I came up with was really liking best the image where the peach was kind of against this or used as a backdrop, this yellow checkered tablecloth, and I loved all of the warm colors in there. And so I ended up scanning that one at much higher resolution so that I could make a large print out of it, and then beginning the process of editing it. And as I edited the peach in this peach photograph, I realized that there was a lack of focus in the background, which I liked quite a bit. It put an emphasis on the peach. And I also saw that there was a significant amount of dark value in the background, which I kind of emphasized by darkening the background quite a bit and darkening the shadow area quite a bit, lightening up the marble, and then also increasing the intensity of the color of this peach. It was already quite a beautifully rich color, but I wanted to increase the intensity of the color. In the end, though, the thing that I think made the photograph work well, for me anyway, was the additional amount of color that was being supplied by reflections in the marble surface of a variety of pieces of the subject. I had experimented while photographing with opening and closing a window that was way across the room and letting in kind of the blue light of the sky, and that blue light reflecting across the table. And so I looked at that and made an adjustment layer in Photoshop to make that even bluer, to kind of act as a nice complementary color pair with the yellows and oranges and reds in the photograph. I also then made a selection of the reflection of the peach and the reflection of this yellow and checkered tablecloth, and used adjustment layers to bump up their color a little bit more as well, to kind of make a bigger deal out of that reflection. Again, one of my basic philosophies in this photographic realm is that really all we're about is making a mountain out of a molehill. We take something that doesn't have very much significance, and by signifying, by taking photographs of it and by sort of enhancing that experience, we begin to take a look at how we can make a bigger deal out of that essentially not very big deal thing. So I made this photograph then and kind of created this this kind of color pairing or color relationship, and really loved the way in which it worked out. And as a large print, a big 20 by 20 inch print, it's really quite a gorgeous thing. So the process of photographing and the process of editing really go hand in hand, right? I mean, there's an important part of giving yourself enough material in the field, something that film photographers often aren't that good at, right? Digital photographers now, we have this ability to make hundreds of pictures if we want to, but making sure that in the field you give yourself enough choices to really make sure the thing that works best works the way you want it to work. Because I had other photographs, as you saw, that for me somehow missed the point of the beautiful streaming light and the sort of romantic notion of the morning and the peach and the warmth of that summer day. So for me, this photograph worked pretty well. Well, as I was taking a look at the image this morning, actually, and thinking about putting together this issue of Camera Position, I noticed that it was snowing outside, and so I took an apple it's kind of embarrassing, and an apple that I had in my fruit drawer in my refrigerator for much too long, so it's a little mushy and so forth and so on. And I took it outside and laid it down in the snow while it was snowing, and began to make some photographs of it. I made some photographs before it had a lot of snow on it, and then made a number of photographs a few minutes later after some snow had accumulated on it. And while I don't know that this necessarily has the same sort of emotional pull that, at least for me, that the peach photograph has, it is, I think, a nice counterpoint of the idea of having a kind of a cold picture to complement the warm picture of the warm peach. So I think oftentimes our photographic ideas come to us simply by making relationships happen between a single photograph and maybe some other photographs, or a single photograph and some ideas. So there is, I think, synergy between the photographs we've already made and the photographs that we're about to make, and being able to kind of tie in those things can really be very useful. Well, at the end here of this issue of Camera Position, I wanted to remind everyone about the Photocast Network. The Photocast Network is this group of podcasters who are all dealing with photographic topics, photographic subject matter. And we have a fairly large group now at photocastnetwork.com. And one of the things that we do, which is really kind of fun, we just did one yesterday, we do this kind of roundtable podcast called The Focus Ring, where we get 3 or 4, or in this case, I think 6 photo podcasters together and just talk about photography. We use Skype to record the conversation, and we just had a wonderful freewheeling 90-minute conversation yesterday, the 6 of us, and I would encourage you to check it out, photocastnetwork.com, and check out the Focus Ring episode number 12, I believe it is. We had a great time making it, and we talked about things ranging from the technical to the conceptual, and I think you'll enjoy having a listen. Lastly, before I sign off here, I want to welcome any of you who have come over to Camera Position having found my History of Photography class podcast. First of all, welcome, and glad you're here. For reasons unknown to me and not requested by me, the nice folks at Apple put the History of Photography podcast right on the front page of the podcast section of the iTunes store. So suddenly my listeners just jumped through the roof. Those podcast files are hosted at the College of DuPage server. I even got a call from my IT guy saying, "What are you doing? What happened?" And they noticed the dramatic drawdown in their bandwidth, but they're happy to have that traffic, and we're happy to have you listening, and we're very happy to have you over here at Camera Position. And thanks again for listening, and happy birthday to me, but really happy birthday to you. Without you guys out there listening and periodically letting me know what you're up to, and showing me your photographs, and chatting up with me in a variety of different locations, I would not be doing this, because it's really just fun to talk about photography with a whole lot of people all around the world. So thanks for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Camera Position, the podcast about the creative side of photography. Camera Position is a proud member of the Photocast Network, your photo resource in the potosphere. Photocastnetwork.com